Hey, what is up, guys? It is John from the Collectors Company today, featuring once again Nick Paspi. Nick, what did you do on the weekends?
Apparently I played the new Android 17 and didn't get my ass handed to me, surprisingly enough. And just dodged all the bad matchups and managed to get top 16.
Not just top 16, number 10, mate. Almost single digits. Yeah. No, awesome. Well, we'll just dive straight into the deck profile here. So, Nick somehow managed to forget his leader at home, so we're using off his phone. So, Nick, what does your leader do?
Pretty much, Warrior View 7, when you attack, draw a card, and then the main good things about this deck is you don't have to play Tournament of Power Arena, because the first red-blue you charge is a the rest red-blue you charge comes in active mode. And then Awaken skill is if you have a Z battle card with an energy cost 2 or more in play. Or Universe 7 one.
Universe 7 Z battle card. Not color locked, by the way.
Yeah, which is great. You can Awaken, take down a 6, untap 1, draw 1.
Alright, cool. Then I guess we'll flip over. flip over.
Pretty much on this side, your draw engine becomes your Z, or your Z deck becomes your draw engine. So if you block, attack, or play a Z battle card on either person's turn, you get to draw a card. And the bottom effect I pretty much never used because I'm not running that card that uses this effect. But
Deadly Clash.
If you pitch a Deadly Clash, you can give one of your rival cards barrier, which is
sometimes relevant, right?
I get, yeah, sometimes. Even though most decks just have barrier removal anyways, which is why I gave up on that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, we'll move your leader to the side and we'll go through the deck profile now.
Okay. First card here is actually something. So I've updated my list slightly since we played the tournament. I've put 4 of these back in. This is a 1-drop top 5 searcher for any red-blue card that is 6 or less, which honestly is one of the best search cards that actually printed in this deck. In the game, sorry. I was running the 1-drop Gohan SR, but I found that using that card I didn't manage to see my Arrival 17s enough throughout the day, which was why I've chucked this back in. And also it has a secondary ability where if you have a red Universe 7 card and combo, you can, and combo this on top of it, you can pitch a red-blue card and draw a card.
Yeah, I think a big thing is it's extra bit of cycling, and it's the blue card you need to Arrival if you don't see all your super combos.
Yeah, and specifically it's the red-blue extra card that you got to pitch. It gets effects in the drop area, we'll go over that later, but it makes the deck a lot more synergetic if you play this card instead of the 1-drop Gohan.
Cool.
Next up, MVP versus yellow in this deck.
Yeah, this card's mad.
This card is honestly awesome. 4 of has to be. Top 5 search a red Universe 7 card 6 or less.
6 or less, yep.
Which honestly you don't really want to play this card, but if you haven't got anything else turn 1, you got to play it.
Yep.
The main effect is though if your Android 17 cards are removed by a skill, you can discard this card instead if there's not another copy of this in the drop area.
Yeah, so basically, as long as there's not one of this in the drop area, let's just say now you overwhelm to clear the 6-drop or the Z card or whatever, right? You pitch this instead, and that's actually a huge momentum swing, because, your opponent invested a resource to clear a card, and Nick just discarded one from hand.
Yeah, exactly. Except, against some decks like Red, for example, this card doesn't work against because they minus your cards, and it will still be on 0 even if you pitch, which is just really unfortunate, to be honest. So, dodge all the Sin players, which I did successfully.
Oh, nice. Hey, gotta have a bit of luck in card games, right?
Exactly. Next up is 4-drop Red Freezer. You don't usually see this card, but now it actually has a use, thank God. It's from one of the I don't even know which starter deck, to be honest. But pretty much when you combo this card, you get to search your deck for a red extra card and put it in the drop area, and that works with the extra card that you need to put in your drop area for this deck. That we'll go over in a bit. It's pretty much just it helps with the engine of the deck.
Yeah, exactly. It's also U7 as well, which is just nice to be searchable.
I actually might go over this with the Z battle card. I'm playing 4 vanillas in this deck.
You did say you were playing the Gohan, but you just recently cut it, is that correct?
Yes. Pretty much, if you see a vanilla in this deck, you want to charge it, and the red-blue extra card from the drop area, it comes back to your energy.
Replacing a U7 card.
Replaces a U7 card, so this will go to the drop area. And once this goes to the drop area, this is one of the cards that this deck is taking advantage of that I don't think many other people are using. Pretty much deflect, barrier, dual attack, and once per turn you can switch this card to rest mode, and it grabs a vanilla from the drop and minuses a card 15.
Yeah.
And against decks that can't remove this gets really annoying after a while.
Yeah, this card's really insane. Nick wasn't running this for a little bit, and then when he put it in, the deck instantly felt way better, because it's another option to play from underneath the Gohan alongside the Android 17Z card.
Yeah, we'll go over the Z deck a bit later, but just to show a reason for having this.
Yeah. Like Nick said before, the blue Android 17s that he was running were originally the Gohans, but he's recently changed it. I can imagine Nick would change up the ratios of the skills cards as well in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Next up, best super combo for this deck.
You're welcome, by the way.
Thank you for the sexy cards.
Yeah.
Super combo, when you combo it, untap a blue-red on your opponent's turn. This just sets up your arrival plays. It's searchable off all the one-drops.
Both the searches, yep.
Yeah, so there's not really much else to say about this card. It just sets up your arrival.
Yeah, untap one, lets you go from 0 to anything, really.
Yeah, exactly. Next up, people may be a bit sus of this one, but instead of Rival Seeker, I'm actually playing this card. So this is a free combo if you have a red-blue charged.
Which you always do.
You always do. Dual attack, blocker, arrival for red-blue. All the keywords.
All the keywords, yeah.
When this card is played, you can minus a battle card 15k, ignoring barrier,
Correct.
and top 5 for a freezer clan.
Which is relevant, you have targets in your deck.
Exactly. This card has so much text, and compared to Rival Seeker, because I'm not running the full Invoker engine, this card just had a bit more tempo and answered a few more things that I
was struggling with, right? Yeah.
And also with Rival Seeker, sometimes it is actually a pain to get extra cards in your drop and keep them there, because the cards that came with this deck, all their effects involve them leaving the drop area.
Yeah, that's actually true, yeah.
And on top of that, this card is searchable off the one drop. It's just a red-blue card.
Yeah, it's searchable off the one drop, and also, I know Nick's sideboard's cooler in, so this card can actually search for cooler from the sideboard.
Yes. Next up, the goat himself.
This card's so pretty.
This card is balanced. Balanced to say the least. Arrival, red-blue, double strike. When you play it, you get to search top 5 for a red-blue card.
6 or less, like the one drop.
6 or less as well, yes. And then it...
KO something?
KO or less. So I'm trying to read this upside down and it's not working. And then activate battle. You can pitch a card out of your hand and combo with 2 cards from your drop area. 2...
U7?
U7 5K.
You got this, Nick, I believe.
2 U7 5Ks from your drop area. And that effect is actually very relevant sometimes. It used to be a bit better when I was running the one-drop Gohan because there's a bit of synergy in comboing skillless battle cards.
Yeah, so if you do run the Gohan, if you use this bottom skill, the cards are considered skillless, so you actually get the draw off the Gohan, but like Nick said, the Gohan was removed a lot.
You know what's really funny? I forgot to say it has Invoker.
It also has Invoker, yeah, that is true. It gains Invoker. Like, the only reason this card is balanced is because it's locked to this leader specifically for the Invoker effect. But,
this card is really good and really bad at the same time. It is so vulnerable to removal, it's not funny. Because if you fill your deck with Deadly Clashes, your hand just bricks, and you don't want to ditch it every time just to give a barrier, only for the turn as well. So it's just not worth it in my opinion. But having the Invoker there for a couple cheeky techs is pretty useful, and you can play around it quite nicely.
Yeah.
Alright, this is the main thing in this deck that probably keeps it going.
This card's very, very good.
This card is actually mad, and other Invoker decks should really pick it up. Unfortunately, what does make it amazing is locked to this leader, so the other leaders can't really take advantage of it, but the auto is if
you're this leader specifically, right? Yeah. So basically, what this card does, if this card's in the drop area, at the end of your turn, you can put one of your U7 cards in your energy in your drop area, and then you get to put this in your energy in active mode. So basically, this is a free. Technically, this is a free untap one, quote unquote, at the end of your turn in a red deck. And on top of that as well, it's got an active main/battle where you get to choose one of your opponent's cards, negate 30k, and it also gives one of your cards 5k power for the turn. So it also doubles up as a bean with removal that you can use on both players' turns.
So, considering this deck doesn't have any floodgates available to it, having this on top of Bean makes your leader 25k, and you can really live through a lot of low level swings.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Sin is a thing.
Sin is a thing.
When you use this and you minus your opponent's Sin, it goes up to a 35k instead of getting minus 30, which is why, if you're playing this deck, just dodge all the Sins.
It's a big brain. This deck would be broken in America right now. I heard they're on a promo shortage.
Exactly. Pretty much the old version of that card. This card's still kind of busted, to be honest. Most of the time, I didn't actually use this through Invoker. It'd be my opponent's turn. I'd have one untapped from the other extra card, and then I'd use 2 beans just to pop a card. Who knew battle tricks were broken?
Yeah, being able to kill.
Ignoring barrier.
Yeah, this card hits pretty much every card in the game outside of SCRs.
Yeah.
And some specific big cards, but this card's very good.
Yeah, can't complain. 4 beans.
You need it.
There's no explanation to this. A red deck that can take advantage of untapping energy, you gotta have this. Because we don't have D-Magic.
Correct.
So you gotta use this.
Yes.
Yeah, there's not much else to say about that. 3 testings. I found that this is the best negate for this deck. Having just, free negates and going from 5 to 4 is always useful. Can't complain about that. This has been a red stable for ages. Nothing much more to say about that.
Yeah, big thing too is that this kind of, even though it stops 2 attacks, you actually get a combo step on the block, right? So you're actually able to rival some things defensively, so this card's very relevant.
Next up, my personal spice, Baby Unison.
This card overperformed for Nick, I want to say.
I literally chucked this in the day before because I was versing John at his house, and Golden Cooler and with Golden Freezer, that deck was a bit toxic and it pissed me off so much, and I'm just like, no, I need removal. This deck, because Red's removal, at least this deck, just kind of sucks, especially if they're playing big bombs. Having just normal removal available to you with a draw engine, with it pretty much getting 5 markers on the turn you play it, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, this card, honestly, I actually versed Nick in the regionals, and our game was so close it came down to the wire, and this card was actually kind of carried Nick a lot through that game. I couldn't really clear this card, and it was just providing him so much value throughout the entire game. I think if you're not going heavy on the Invoker stuff, this card is a must because it gives your leader a way to draw cards without needing to use Z cards.
Exactly, yeah. So before I added this card, the turn 3 would usually be, oh wow, my opponent removed my other Z card. Crap, I've got to play another one. And then that keeps dying, and then you go in that cycle of just crying. So this replaces that second Z card that you can play. And it's pretty difficult for 90% of decks to remove as well. But they'll have to take up either their whole turn or just ignore it.
Another way you're happy, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and also, it actually has another bean effect for your leader if you really want. So you can use the extra card +5, and then Bean +5, and then you get a +1 from this.
Yeah, if all your energy's tapped out and this is in rest mode, you lead against a 1k buff, which is essentially a bean, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I didn't pull it off throughout the tournament, but being a 26k base is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because we're playing the Unison, chucked in 2 Wolfgang Fists. This card's just a necessary evil, to be honest. This deck didn't have enough negates, but this is a negate that both works with the deck nicely because it doesn't actually negate, and it gets rid of pesky attackers like the 2-drop Vegeta, Z-Card, Beerus, for examples.
Yeah.
But being able to negate ignoring barrier -15, then arrivaling a chilled on top of that, that's -30 without ignoring barrier.
Yeah, you can kind of cheese a lot of Z battle cards, like the big barrier bodies with this card.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Next up, I can't not play this in all of my decks. I always play 2 of these.
This card's broken, right?
There's too many matchups where it just comes into play. I was running the red Universe 70 for the barrier removal, but this card's just better.
The Kayakin, yeah.
You verse a Gamma, you pop their Unison. You verse Gogeta, you pop their Unison. You verse Sin, you pop their Unison. You verse Hand Destruction, you got your draw 2. It's a bit of everything, and you can never go wrong running it like a 2 of, to be honest.
Black Smoke is a good card.
Yeah. Next up, my overwhelms. These cards are for the lack of removal, like I said, but also the main reason you want to run Overwhelm in this deck is to get your Android 18s out of your drop area, so you can pitch one from your hand to defend your 17s that die every 2 seconds.
Yeah, and obviously I'd assume you'd replace it with the new Vegeta that's coming out.
Yeah, no, that's a no-brainer. It's the same card, but with 5k combo.
Yeah, it's pretty funny that they power creep this card after, like, what, 2 sets?
Yeah, exactly. And SCR of choice.
Vegeta.
Picking an SCR for this deck was actually quite a pain because all of the searches are all 6 or less, so you don't get the bonus of this being a U7. But
That's true, yeah.
This is kind of just the most generic red SCR. I was playing Golden Cooler for a bit, but I found that I needed a cheaper option because this deck is a bit more tempo-y than the decks that can utilize Golden Cooler a bit more. And against those aggro matchups, not having a game that ends before you can actually use your SCR kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's fair. But either way, you can't go wrong with this Vegeta. It's a complete board wipe, deals a damage, you know. Like, it's just a very good card overall.
There's a lot of good text on there.
Yeah, a lot of good words, Alrighty, we'll quickly hop into your Z deck. You've already shown us one of the cards.
To be honest, probably should have gone over the Z deck first, considering this is what the deck revolves around.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay. Alright, so first up, we've got 3 Gohans. This is just the play starter. Don't run the Goku, because deflect is a nice keyword.
It is a very nice keyword, yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you drop this turn 2 so you can awaken, and then at the start of your opponent's main phase, you can pay 1 to play a 3 or less U7 card from underneath it. Another tip, never Z-stack 2. I don't know why they gave
Yeah, no, this should be Z-stack 1. If you Z-stack 2, I remember, when this deck first came out, I actually tested a lot against Nick, and I thought this deck was so bad, because I'd constantly Z-stack 2, and Nick would play 1 Black Smoke Dragon, and I'd lose half my Z deck on turn 2.
Legit, yeah, you're putting 3 cards underneath, that's half your Z deck on if this gets removed. It's so silly.
You always want to put Z-stack 1, Z-stack 1.
And the cards we play from underneath this, the Goku I showed you before, and these 17s.
Yep. So 17.
This may be one of my favorite cards in this game, to be honest. It's so funny. So when it comes down on your opponent's turn after being played from under this, it will draw you another card from your leader. And so when you play it, for the turn, it can't be KO'd in battle. So these are pretty much free blocks.
Yes.
It's got barrier. It hasn't got deflect, so do be wary of that. It can be counterplayed by some yellow decks. And black, if they're on 4 or less, don't play this card. When I'm pretty sure. Wait, what is this? The active main is to get.
Play another card underneath.
I've never used this ability.
I don't
this
think you
card
need to.
Is a good card, and I don't want to remove it from the game.
That's true.
For 2 energy at that. But and then the third ability is on your opponent's turn, you can switch it to active mode.
Yeah. So basically, it's a double blocker that can't be cleared by battle. So
if you're versing something pretty really aggressive like Red Sin, if they haven't sided correctly, which they should because they got a card that just ruins this.
Yeah.
Say you got triple strike, bang, block. You got another triple strike, bang, block.
Yeah, it's a double blocker. It's very good. And then we went over the Goku before. So what's your final Z card, Nick?
Dude, the Spice.
Yeah, this card's actually.
This card's a U7.
No, this card's pretty cool. I like this card.
So this card I put in mainly for aggro decks. So you just need that extra little bit of removal in this deck. So being able to drop this and pop a 4-drop is really nice. And also in this deck, it's pretty much a 2-drop, 1 Z cost, draw a card, pop a card, and double strike.
Yeah.
So it just gets that a little bit better in this deck, but we don't. I've thought about running green cards, but it's just
no. It's not it. It's not it. Yeah.
Like the 18 from the new starter deck, it's too much. It's too much.
I think the big thing about this is like we were saying before, your leader's not color locked on Z cards, so you can play. Nick was playing the yellow Goku for a bit, and then he changed it over to this, and he felt like the deck felt better with just like having a very cheap removal option, and like you don't really care paying 2 in this deck because you can untap so much energy on your opponent's turn anyway.
And just that cheeky unison removal as well, really good for this card.
Yeah, insane. Like against Red Sin, for example, even though it's a hard matchup, you play this for 2, clear something to into the unison, it's just value.
Exactly.
We'll quickly go over the
side deck.
quickly go over the side deck.
2 cooler. Barrier removal, double strike, Miller card for 1 energy. It's very synergetic with the deck because we're already searching red-blue cards, we're searching Freezer Clans, and we're already arrivaling.
Yeah.
So this card just fits in perfectly. I had it there for if I versed Cumber, but I managed to dodge that, thank God, because this deck has a bit of a bad matchup into it.
Yeah, this card's mainly for Trunks, Cheater, and Cumber.
Yeah, exactly. Just any low-key barrier removal. Next up, we got 2 Beerus Ball.
This card's free in this deck.
Yeah, we're actually running a multicolor deck, so
It's free.
I can pay this for free. I mainly used it against decks that I needed to go more aggro against. So yellow, good for Riposte.
Blue.
Blue, good for the Gohan, and Gamma,
17.
good for the Android 13.
Yep.
It hits all the floodgates pretty much, except for Topo. But yeah, there we go. I did not play this card.
Okay.
It's funny.
No, you can. I told Nick to play this card in his deck because there's been in the past I've been playing U7, the red U7 Gohan, and I have won games against Nick because I just would randomly play this card for 7,
Yeah.
and he'd be like, "Huh?" I think this card is cheese. That's the main thing. About
Good
this
thing
card.
is no one's gonna side Jiren into you. So if you're versing a deck where you're gonna go to 7 energy, it can come up.
And come up here.
But it didn't happen. And yeah, like it's a good card. Every blue deck's been using it since it came out.
Good card is good.
Yeah, good card is good. I don't have anything else. 2 Cunning.
Need it.
Need it. Yeah, against Divinity, against
21.
Android 21. This did do a bit of work. Although, funny thing about the matchup against 21 is if they do decide to swing with their big boy, you just kill it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because you play your cards on your opponent's turn, so they can't really optimize their like using your cards as energy.
Exactly. It's like this deck actually has a really good matchup into 21. Not gonna lie. Yep, that's good. Screw Golden Freezer.
The hate John tech.
Sick of that deck. Yeah, this stops them from untapping on the early turns, stops their draw cycle, which is really good. Actually, it doesn't stop the draw, but
The untap ability
yeah,
is important.
stop the untap for the second.
Also
card
good
they
against
play.
Soul Striker.
Yes. For my black matchups and Sin, I put in this card. Yeah, if they have more than one 6 drop? Yeah, more than one 6 drop in play.
You get to clear multiple things. It hits certain decks. It hurts a lot. Like Yellow Sin, for example, this card does work.
It was mostly for Cumber.
was
Cumber
mostly
and Kai.
Cumber and card.
Although
Yeah, actually that's true.
My
So,
matchup against Kai, I did not see it, and I got my ass handed to me.
don't say that. Don't say that, man.
2 Topo. Against the decks to go ultra aggressive, I feel like this is the only floodgate that you feasibly can play, apart from Protector of the People. But I thought you've got to chuck a red card in just for charging synergy, because I do run quite a few black cards, so sometimes charging can be an issue. But this card's been in the game for so long now, it's still good. Just make sure you don't get a counterplay.
Cool.
And the anti-golden cooler deck.
Oh, this card was toxic actually against me.
Literally, my whole matchup against John was searching and keeping my 17 alive, so he could not play that 5 cost win.
Well,
This is the anti-SCR card, pretty much.
Like-
It hits Beast Gohan, it hits Cumber, and it hits Golden Cooler.
yeah.
It hits Overwhelms.
It hits a lot of things.
The only issue is, the reason I don't mainboard it is because keeping Invoker alive is actually a real problem. In my matchup against John, I actually
That's the game plan.
decided to keep 4 energy up for this card because I just
Yep.
if I played Golden Cooler, I literally just lose.
Nick's a smart player, leave 4 up. I don't have Broly Crown, so it's fine. It's fine.
Exactly.
All right, Nick. Well, that's the deck, huh? So how do you feel? I think a lot of people weren't really thinking about this deck. They kind of wrote it off, myself included. And you did really well with it.
I went into this tournament thinking I was going to get ruined, but I did win. Like, it actually has a really good matchup into yellow, and I happened to verse 2 yellow decks, and then I verse 21, which is really good because I can play my cards on their turn, so they can't take advantage of them. And yeah, those are like the matchups that felt really good. Golden Freezer was so close. John had two.
Put it there, Nick.
John had 2 cards left in his deck. I
Yep.
misplayed.
Yep.
Fair play. Yeah, pretty much the ultra aggro decks are the problem for this. And also, if green was back in the meta, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about green. We don't talk about green.
Ruin this deck.
We don't think about that.
Charismatic is a problem.
Anyway, guys, this has been Nick. Any final shout-outs you want to give?
Shout out to the Collectors Company, for all the team members, Benny, John. Shout out to the streamers, the Lookout, good effort, Damien, and Peter Dance. Yep, that's the one, his name. And just all the people at Cartastic Locals for helping out building the deck. And we're good to go.
Yeah, okay, sweet. Oh, nice. Oh, no, thanks again, Nick. Well, you've done doing pretty good this year already. Top 2 events pretty consistently, and you're doing it with some spicy stuff. Some underrated. I would like to show off your leader, but you kind of left it at home.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time. This is John and Nick signing out.
See you later.